Have you ever wondered what the absolute limit of human survival is? How long could you last, alone, lost at sea? 1 week? A month? Well, get ready for a story that will redefine everything you thought you knew about endurance. This is the incredible, almost unbelievable tale of Poon Lim, a man who survived for 133 days adrift in the South Atlantic Ocean. It all started on November 23, 1942. World War II was raging, and Poon Lim, a 25-year-old Chinese steward, was serving on the British merchant ship SS Benlomond. They were sailing from Cape Town, South Africa, towards Suriname. The crew knew the risks. German U-boats, the infamous wolf packs, prowled these waters. Suddenly, without warning, a torpedo struck the ship. The explosion was catastrophic. The Benlomond began to sink fast, taking most of its 54-man crew with it. In the chaos, Poon Lim grabbed a life jacket and leaped into the churning ocean, just moments before the ship's boilers exploded, sealing its fate. For about 2 hours, he floated in the oily water, surrounded by debris. Just as his hope began to fade, he spotted something in the distance, a small wooden raft. It was a standard-issue 8-by-8-foot raft, barely more than a floating pallet. With the last of his strength, he swam to it and pulled himself aboard. This tiny square of wood would become his entire world for the next 4.5 months. Alone on the vast, empty ocean, Poon Lim took stock of his supplies. He had a 40-liter tank of fresh water, a few tins of biscuits, some chocolate, a bag of sugar lumps, a couple of smoke flares, a flashlight, and a rope. It wasn't much, but it was a start. He knew he had to be smart, to ration everything with extreme care. He allowed himself only 2 biscuits and a few sips of water each day. He tried to stay positive, confident that a rescue ship would find him soon. Days turned into weeks. The ocean remained stubbornly empty. No ships, no planes, just the endless horizon. His meager supplies eventually ran out. The water tank was empty. The biscuits were gone. Thirst and hunger became his constant companions. Lesser men would have given up, but Poon Lim was a fighter. He realized that if he was going to survive, he had to rely on himself and the ocean. He became a master of improvisation. He used the wire from his flashlight to create a fishing hook. For bait, he scraped barnacles from the bottom of the raft and formed them into a paste. He drank its blood to quench his thirst and ate its flesh raw. But fishing with a tiny wire wasn't always successful. He needed a better tool. He managed to pull a nail out of the wooden boards of his raft and painstakingly bent it into a larger, more robust hook. This allowed him to catch bigger fish. He learned to be patient, to understand the rhythms of the sea. He even managed to catch birds that would occasionally land on his raft to rest. He would lie perfectly still, sometimes for hours, waiting for the right moment to snatch one. He used a sharpened piece of a biscuit tin as a knife to prepare his catch. He laid the fish out on the raft's canvas canopy to dry in the sun, creating a kind of jerky that would last longer. Surviving the elements was a daily battle. The relentless sun beat down on him, burning his skin. Violent storms tossed his tiny raft around like a toy, threatening to capsize it at any moment. He would tie a rope from the raft to his wrist, so if he was thrown into the water, he wouldn't be separated from his only shelter. Once, after a storm, a shark attacked. Instead of panicking, Poon Lim fought back. He used the water jug, half filled with seawater, as a weapon and struck the shark on the head with all his might. In an astonishing feat of strength and desperation, he managed to haul the small shark onto the raft and kill it with his makeshift knife. Shark meat was tough and not very tasty, but it was food. And more importantly, the shark's liver was a source of fresh water. Keeping his mind sharp was just as important as keeping his body alive. He fought off despair by creating a routine. He would exercise every morning and evening, swimming around the raft while holding on to the rope. He kept track of the days by tying knots in his rope, a visual reminder of his long ordeal. He would sing songs and talk to himself, anything to combat the crushing loneliness. He later said he never lost hope, often telling himself, "I will be rescued one day." He had a few near misses with rescue. Early on, he saw a freighter and then a U.S. Navy patrol plane. He used his smoke flare, but neither saw him. He watched them disappear over the horizon, a heartbreaking moment that would have broken most people. But not Poon Lim. He just went back to his routine, back to fishing, back to surviving. After an unimaginable 133 days, his ordeal finally came to an end. On April 5, 1943, 3 Brazilian fishermen spotted his raft off the coast of Brazil. They couldn't believe their eyes. This man was emaciated, sunburned, but incredibly, he was alive. He had lost about 20 pounds, but he was able to walk off the raft on his own. He was taken to a hospital in Belém, where he spent 4 weeks recovering. Doctors were amazed by his physical and mental condition. When King George VI heard of his story, he awarded Poon Lim the British Empire Medal for his unbelievable feat of endurance. The Royal Navy even incorporated his survival techniques into their training manuals. His story became a legend, a testament to the power of human will and ingenuity. When asked how he survived, Poon Lim simply said, "I hoped I would be rescued." Poon Lim's journey is more than just a survival story. It's a profound lesson about resilience, resourcefulness, and the unshakable power of hope in the face of impossible odds. He proved that even when you have nothing, you can find a way. He lived a full life after his rescue, immigrating to the United States and passing away in 1991 at the age of 72. His record for surviving alone on a raft at sea remains unbroken to this day. So the next time you feel like you're facing an insurmountable challenge, think of Poon Lim. Think of the man who turned a nail into a fishing hook, who fought a shark with a water jug, and who stared into the vast, empty ocean for 133 days and never, ever gave up. Thanks for watching. If this story inspired you, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video. Let me know in the comments what you think is the most incredible part of Poon Lim's survival. See you in the next one.